Katie Couric has been on the talk scene talking about her brand new book. She was blackballed there for a lot of people because she basically went after everybody. And she was asked about the Matt Lauer situation. She said her shock and disappointment with Lauer is one of the most emotional topics she explores in her new memoir, Going There. And she also mentioned the fact that she was really surprised. She said there's a duality in human beings, and sometimes they don't let you see both sides. She said what upset me most about hearing these stories was that obviously it was grossly inappropriate, but it also seemed so calloused of him.
Yeah.
Like he just didn't think there were going to be any ramifications for it. And then she brought up something that I have to applaud you for because I think this is really interesting because we talked about the Monica Lewinsky situation and Bill Clinton. My argument was that she was to blame for some of it. I'm not saying for 50% of it, 90% of it. She knew what she was doing. She didn't have to do any of those things as far as we know. She may have thought she had to do those in order to get further ahead in her internship or in the White House, and we saw how that turned up. And now a lot of people that do consent to someone of a higher power, we realize if I really want to get ahead in this work or I want to do these things, then I have to do that. She said, I think we've learned a lot. I think our understanding of what is a consensual relationship has changed dramatically, and now we know that if there's a power dynamic, it can't really be considered consensual.
Absolutely.
Which is what,
I've been saying that.
I've always said that if you're an intern and, you're with the president of the company, that it is purely consensual because you don't have to do that. You don't have to sleep with the president of the company in order to get ahead, or you don't have to do it to think you need to get ahead. But it is different. There really isn't a true consensuality between the two parties if the power dynamic is so out of whack.
Well, and I can make it
because there's a reason why it's happening.
But I can make an easier example, and I'm just going to twist one part of it.
Yeah,
because you talk about you feel the pressure because this is what I think I need to do to get ahead, right? Or to get ahead to
play along or whatever it is.
Well, and that's where I think it's different. There's a difference between, they're both not right, but there's a difference between, hey, if you really want to be successful, these are the things you need to do, versus, and it doesn't even have to be said, but if you don't do these things, you're not going to make it here. You're not going to get the promotion. So there's a difference between getting ahead and having your status taken away from you.
Yeah.
And listen, there are a lot of super powerful, insecure men who make the move under the auspice that, she thinks I'm hot, I think she's hot. And when they get rebuffed even a little bit, it's as quick for them to say, look, hey, I can't tell you. Of course, I wouldn't tell you what you can and can't do. But I can tell you that I'm a pretty powerful person. And if things aren't good between us, you never know.
Yeah.
And that's different. That is different. They're both bad. But there's a difference between I need to do this or I think I should do this in order for me to advance versus if I don't do this, there's going to be retribution. And I can tell you this from clients that I have worked with, there is probably more fear that if we don't engage in some of these behaviors, we're going to get, and it's not fired. It's not that I'm going to get fired, but I'm not going to get the promotion somebody else is. I'm not going to get the performance evaluation that I really deserve. So it's not so much advancing, but it's literally protecting your job, but it's never said you're going to be fired.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, where the power differential is even worse, because you're like, okay, I don't want to do this. I don't even want to do this to get ahead. But if I don't do this, am I going to be penalized?
And I don't know if this is the case because I haven't spoken to any really high, powerful women about this.
Yeah, I haven't.
But in most cases, I've always seen, and I've seen it at every place I've worked, where the boss is sleeping with somebody.
Yep.
Whether it's a salesperson, whether it's someone back in HR, whether it's an on-air personality, and this is just in radio.
Yeah.
Those people never went nowhere. Those women went nowhere. They may have gotten somewhere where it got them through a period of time,
yep.
But by the time the word got out that so-and-so was sleeping with so-and-so, and they were both married or vice versa, She didn't go anywhere. She got bounced because when he lost his job, he was going to lose his job because he was sleeping with the entire sales staff. She was going to lose her job because it was going to be a different GM. I will say this, and you know, women are very powerful because men love them and because they're beautiful and because men can't live without them. And it does make us feel special and good. And I think a woman can carry herself in a way, and I'm not saying in all cases. I've seen women that would have never cheated on their husbands, but are very flirty with their bosses, because they thought the boss liked it, because it made the boss smile, because he was giving her whatever it is. And so it's one of those situations where you have to be careful, and it's unfortunate that you have to be careful as a woman in society about how you portray yourself.
Well, yeah, I totally agree. I think the unfortunate...
Because most of the bosses I know that did sleep with women slept with the easy ones, slept with the ones they knew they could get. They weren't going to mess with the great-looking woman who was a top biller because she wouldn't put up with that crap, and he needed her. Yeah. And so he was like, and she wouldn't go to the late-night parties. She wouldn't go out to the after parties. She wouldn't go on one-on-one dinners with him. She wouldn't even go have lunch with him.
Right.
Okay, so be careful. Just, I can't have a lunch with my boss. It depends on why you're going to have lunch with your boss. Are you talking work, or is he just saying, hey, you free for lunch? You want to go grab a bite to eat?
That's right.
Well, why?
Right.
Why is that?
Well, and I think the sad part about it is, particularly for women, kindness, cordialness, caring.
Yeah, guys are stupid there too.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I think when a woman's being nice, she wants to go to bed
That's
with
exactly. So you're, as a woman, well, and let's take it one step further, because I've also seen this. So if you're nice and caring and compassionate, you're seen as now you're flirting.
Yeah.
Right? Hang on. But if you don't do that, now you're a cold bitch.
Yeah.
So and every woman I know is in this position like, what? And you see, the other one you see is if you're quiet and you hang back, then you're seeing you just don't have what it takes. You don't have the guts. You don't have the. But then if you're assertive, look at her. She's look at her. She leads with her elbows. Look at that. Look at the way she's acting. Can you believe? I mean, and so talk to any woman who's in the workplace. They're like, we can't win. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
There is nothing we can do. And that, when you get to there's nothing we can do, then it's on the rest of the company. Now I will say this too, and I think a lot of women are in this position. Then it becomes, are we going to play the game? And I'm not talking about sleeping. I'm not talking about sleeping, but are we going to play the game? Am I going to play the game that says, okay, I can't be too assertive, because he'll be intimidated, so I'm going to pretend that I'm not assertive. And I'm going to kiss his ass, but not too much, because I'm going to do all that so I can get the salary that I want.
Yeah.
And that's like...
And I'll say this, and again, let me preface this by saying it's not right, but it's the world we live in. I'm just telling you like it is. If you're a woman and you're in an industry or a job or a career or whatever you want to call it, where your body is part of it.
Absolutely, it's different.
If you're a model, if you're a cheerleader, if you're a stripper,
sure.
I'm not talking about being an intern at a law firm. I'm not talking about at IBM. I'm not talking about working at McDonald's.
Right.
I'm telling you that if part of your job description is that your body is rocking, you're going to be objectified, and you're probably going to be treated a lot less respectfully. We're seeing it with the soccer teams.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So
yeah, and it sucks because these women love soccer. They just want to play soccer. They want to win soccer games. I was around enough cheerleaders that the stuff I saw made me sick to my stomach about how guys would talk about them in front of them, the way they would grab them, about show me this, do me that. I mean, it was disgusting, and they just wanted to be cheerleaders.
Right.
They just wanted to be cheerleaders. They were born beautiful, and they're like, I just cheer because I want to be a cheerleader, because this is what I love to do. This is what I want to do, even though I know I can't make a career out of it. But for the spirit of time, it's what I love traveling with a team. I love traveling with the girls. I love doing these things. And again, it's not right. It's incredibly unfortunate. But if you are working in an industry where your body is objectified, whether it's for a calendar or whether you're doing shoots, I mean, I can't imagine being.
But are athletes the same? Does a female athlete?
Women athletes are to an extent.
That's what I'm saying. Does that fall into the same category?
I think it's different because depending on whether you can make a living or being a professional athlete makes a huge difference. And we're seeing it with these women's soccer teams. And it's again, and you know, a lot of
guys.
Yeah, come on, get it together, man. It ain't that hard.
Yes.
We say
it
ain't that hard to be respectful and real. It doesn't mean you don't have a shot. You know, if you really think she's beautiful and you want to go out with her, do it the right way.
Where I do think things will change, and they are changing besides the transparency.
It's taking a long time.
It's taking a long time. But you are seeing it. As women move up in power, I talk to my wife about this all the time.
Your wife is a very powerful woman.
Right, so my wife is a good example, but she's not in a corporate setting.
But she's there too. She worked her way up, but she's there. She's there where she doesn't have to take any.
Well, but she's also works for herself.
Yeah.
So, but what you are seeing in the corporate setting is it was one thing when you had, you know, one female vice president, one female executive vice president, or you would very often you'd have a female general counsel, the lawyer.
Yeah.
Right. But what's going to change is now you're seeing cohorts of women. When I say cohorts, that there's, you know, if you got 25 vice presidents in a company, now 10 of them are women. Mm-hmm. My wife says this all the time. You just wait. As they're moving up and the percentages change, there's still going to be problems. We're human, dude. We're going to always find a way to screw each other up. Yeah. I mean, but that is going to change because what you're going to have is women going, oh, hell no. You're my VP and you're a man and you just did that. Your ass is gone.
Yeah.
And the guy, you know, the guy's going to be like, whoa. And I'm the reason I'm waiting for that day. And, you know, and I think people peg me wrong because they're like, look at you. You're always sticking up because I believe in men. Mm-hmm. This is not hard. You can make your life super easy. Like, you can score with women. You can be respected. But don't act like a dumbass Neanderthal. Like, that's the part. If you would just make that change. Mm-hmm. I have these conversations with my coaching clients all the time. Stop.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't.